This is the Embodied Performance Podcast, episode 29. I'm Nick Markey of Beach Barbell Physical Therapy and Performance and Strength Training in Wilmington, North Carolina. And very soon, our own gym. Check beachbarbell.com for details. Today I'm going to talk about an interesting topic. We'll call it Sloptimal. So combining the word sloppy with optimal, Sloptimal. This is a term coined by, or at least I heard it, maybe he's coined it, but a physical therapist named Scott Morrison out of Oregon. I took one of his courses, and he produces great content online, different exercises and thoughts and whatnot. But basically the idea is a sloppy Sloptimal, that instead of worrying about having the perfect program, you focus more on just enough, or more so the consistency. So you will have days that are down, as you're recovering, or even just going through life. You're going to have up and down days. So programming in some sort of outlet for those down days, whether that's you adjust the weight or the intensity of maybe the run or whatever, maybe the duration, the sets, the reps. You adjust it to account for the other stressors that are going on in your life. Because ultimately, as I've said before, 1 is better than 0. So if, say that you plan to do 4 sets of an arm exercise, but you woke up that day and your arm was a bit more sore or tense or painful, and looking at that 4 sets just gave you absolute dread, perhaps instead you say, you know what, I'm just going to do 1 set, maybe at a little bit lower intensity, and then I'm going to see how I feel. And, if I'm feeling decent, maybe I'll do another set. But if not, at least I did that 1 set. It was better than doing nothing. And so it's a term that refers to what's called like a minimum effective dose. So for like a medication, there's a certain minimum dose, amount that you take that would give you an effect of that medication. And then there's a maximum effective dose, so it's like a range. And I'm sure this is gonna be a little different for everybody, and I'm sure it can be altered by also what else is going on in the life and diet and all that stuff, sleep, stress, other lifestyle factors. And same can be held to exercise as well. And I'm sure you can draw parallels to other activities as well that you do or have to do. But allowing that room to adjust to life so that you're still making a little bit of progress, maybe not the most optimal progress, but optimal just enough to get something. And there's another saying I've heard, might have heard it from Scott, but I know this has been around a little while, but perfect is the enemy of progress. And kind of speaks to that, trying to make this perfect program and optimize it. And oftentimes we can get into like a state of paralysis by analysis, where you're trying to tweak every little thing to try to make this program before you even do anything. And then you could be losing out on just going and doing something and kind of tweaking it as you go. I think this also applies to things in business. Another saying I heard, lots of sayings today, is ready, fire, aim. So, and another one from Seth Godin, just ship it, where just put it out there and you'll get feedback and then you'll adjust to that. but you're better off kind of getting into it, as long as you got the maybe minimum requirements covered. Just get out there and do something, and you'll make the adjustments that you need to as you go. So I think something like this Sloptimal style of training is a very good thing to consider. How I tend to also program for people is giving them a wide enough, volume range, maybe different range of sets and or reps, and even intensity, to give them that room to adjust to how they're feeling. So it could be something like, we're going to do 2 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps of this exercise. That way, if they're feeling better, they're feeling a little stronger that day, they can bump it up a little bit. And again, that's the key, just a little bit, not a whole ton, because we're looking at the whole picture. And if they're not feeling that great that day, maybe they can go near the bottom end of the range, still doing something, but they're not trying to crush themselves. And this speaks to an idea that we've been trying to make clear throughout these podcasts is, yes, each day is important. Your lifetime is made up of each of these days, but no single one day is more important than the other in your training. So if you go in and crush yourself, maybe you decide, I'm not feeling good today, but I'm going to just, no pain, no gain. I'm just going to go push through it. And, I'm not saying that can't go well. Sometimes that just goes just fine, but say that doesn't. Say that you weren't feeling well. You went to the full intensity and volume that you were, planning originally without making adjustments based on how you're feeling. And then let's say that just made you feel like junk for the next several days. Maybe the point where you just missed the day because were just feeling so low. And then other days you had to really adjust because you just couldn't even push. Well, if you add up, maybe let's just say over a 5-day period, so you got, this work done in that one day, crushed yourself, and then way less work over the next few days. And then you compare it to if you went and adjusted for that down feeling day, and then you were able to probably at least do, some, and on the remaining days, if you added up that work done over those 5 days compared to the work done over the crushing yourself on the first day, 5 days, it's very possible that the more consistent you actually got more work in, which is going to be the thing that's going to drive you to better progress anyways. And that's not even just taking into account quality of life. A lot of people feel like, I see it a lot, people feel like they do have to crush themselves to make these most optimal gains. And yeah, you got to push yourself. You have to challenge yourself. You won't make progress if you're just kind of doing barely anything. But, I temper that with, if it's someone that's doing something, even if it's easy things compared to doing absolutely nothing, that's better off doing, some easy things than nothing. But considering more consistency and thinking about the weeks, the months, the years ahead of you, how sustainable is crushing yourself day in, day out, and maybe occasionally you step in and do a really, really challenging workout, and just to kind of test yourself. But I think on the whole, the staple programming should be more focused on consistent effort day in, day out. So I think that'll conclude today. Again, we were talking about Sloptimal, the sloppy plus optimal. So just doing enough to get the benefit, even if it's just a little bit of benefit. This could have positive effects on just overall progress and training, and also helpful for quality of life, so you're not feeling like junk all the time because you're crushing yourself in your training. You can actually exist in your normal life and, be a normal human being with others instead of just being out of it because you're constantly recovering from your crushing workouts. And then I think probably more enjoyable personally. Again, I can't speak for everybody, but kind of being able to consistently get in there for a little bit and do some work. I personally find the training enjoyable. So, I don't personally find crushing training that enjoyable. Again, that's a personal preference. Some people do. But I like to be able to walk out not feeling like I just kill myself. I feel like I did something. I feel like I put in some good effort and I feel it in my body, but I don't feel like I can't, move around much after. So anyways, I'm Nick Markey of Beach Barbell Physical Therapy, Performance and Strength Training, Wilmington, North Carolina. Very soon, our gym, we're building it out right now. If you're interested, check out beachbarbell.com and see our launch promo and charity drive until November 1st. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you. Bye.